Hello, my loves. Welcome to Be for Vibrant. My name is Kellyanne, and I have a couple of updates today. One is on Free Reading Friday, and the other is on some energies that we ought to be playing with. So let's get into it. First things first, I let y'all know in my last video that I'm going to be starting Free Reading Friday again. And if you haven't been with me since my Instagram live days, where I would go on and just take first come, first serve card readings for free, um, then what you can expect is that I'm going to be on YouTube live taking card readings, first come, first serve, for free. So it's going to be probably 9 p.m., maybe 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that all of the United States folks or the North American folks can get on when they're off of work, after 5 p.m. on the Pacific Coast, um, just so that everybody has a chance to get a free reading with me. But it's not going to be today. It's not going to be this Friday. It's going to be next Friday that we start. So next Friday, which Friday is that? Today's the 15th, so 7 from that, the 22nd, I think, is going to be when we are able to start Free Reading Friday, and you'll be able to get a free card reading from me if you come and jump on and say, tell me what the universe has to share with me, or whatever questions you have. Honestly, I'm open. I'm open to everything. Next things next, we have some energies that are coming through with the third quarter moon in Taurus, and it's basically a continuation of what I was talking about in the last video as well. In the last video, if you weren't there, the TLDR is, hang on, let me wipe my nose real quick. Sorry, I don't have two hands available. I just have two hands working. The TLDR for the last video is basically that, we're so mired in avoidance and perfectionism and people pleasing that sometimes we forget to take a step back and really observe ourselves and observe the situation that we're in and bear witness to the situations that cause us suffering. And so together we set the intention to give ourselves a couple of days, 3 to 5 days, to maybe a week or a month, even if you feel like you just want to focus on this one thing, is to become the witness, setting the intention to just notice when you're in moments of stress, moments of avoidance, moments of rigidity, as in unbendable, inflexible perfectionism, or people pleasing, like you're in the midst of being busy for being busy's sake so that you can do things for other people and maybe not necessarily always be taking care of yourself, which is why it's great to zoom out. Because when we zoom out, we get to see the big picture and we get to figure out what needs to change. But that brings me to our third quarter moon in Taurus. Now, Taurus is a stubborn energy. Taurus is unwilling to undergo change or to, accept change. And that's why I want to talk in this video about getting better at accepting change and changing our relationship to change and to that sense of chaos that makes us feel like we are not in control of our lives. Because our situation is this: if you are afraid of change or you're resistant to change, and it feels really terrifying to be out of control in your life or to let other people take control, or maybe even the opposite, you're so afraid of being in control that you let other people control your life. You crave other people telling you what to do, because it's so terrifying, it's so unimaginable to make decisions for yourself and then have to live with the consequences. So we've got this sort of feeling about change and about especially big changes, um, because as kids, you know, we're not in charge. The grown-ups are. And the grown-ups in our lives were making choices for us that uh, changed our entire worldview and changed um, our entire way of being. You can't really help it. As a kid, the people around you who are in charge of you, they get to make the rules. And for that reason, when we grow into adults, we're often very, in our late teens and early 20s, we're so ready to be on our own and to be in charge of ourselves. And yet, our relationship with change and our relationship with the consequences of being fully in control is not the best relationship, because then we kind of veer into this like, well, only big changes exist, because those are the ones that I noticed as a child, were the most advancing and the most traumatizing as well. And we forget about small changes. So I want to bring back the bull. I want to bring back the Taurus energy here for that's available for us to play with in helping us change our relationship to change, which is that the bull is slow and meandering and will lay down in a field and just rest for hours or just chomp on the greenery around them. And in their wake, they leave their ecosystem in a state to be found by other creatures that helps them. So by being slow and by being meandering and by stirring up the earth in very small, gentle ways, they are a staple in their ecosystem. They are absolutely necessary and beneficial to the thriving of other creatures within that ecosystem, within that environment. And we need that sort of energy to bring that into our relationship with change and with chaos, because we need to be mindful that, as we have set the intention to zoom out and pay attention to ourselves, pay attention to what's going on, bear witness and be an observer of our emotions and the suffering that we might be causing ourselves, just by staying in a situation. Um, as we zoom out, we also get to see how the zooming out gives us an opportunity to relate to those big changes that we feel like we want to make. And the urgency here, the thing that I am urging you to notice more explicitly here, is that the changes that need to take place in your life, however diverse they may be or however bold those changes might be, they can and they should take place in gentle, small steps with lots of rest in between. Because the most sustainable change that we can experience is the gentle, slow kind that takes time to zoom in, take action, zoom out, check how the action affected things around you. Zoom back in, take action again. Zoom back out, reflect. We need We need these patterns so that we can develop a healthy sense of change and healthy sense of chaos in our lives, because otherwise it either comes down on us all at once. We get so fed up with not changing things in our lives that we make a couple of big changes. We chop off our hair and we break up with that person and we move to a different city. Okay, really big changes. Very good that you were, brave enough to make those changes. And did they need to be that big? Because it's starting over. It's the unsustainability of starting completely fresh and completely new and placing the entire viability of your lifestyle and your mental health and your emotional health and your physical health and your spiritual health on those big decisions that now put you in a completely different place than you were before. It's like plucking yourself out of the storybook that you're in and dropping yourself into a different storybook entirely, as opposed to just turning the page every day. This is what I'm talking about. This is the level of bigness that the changes that we pursue in lieu of the small changes looks like, feels like. Because we don't often trust that the small changes are going to do what they're supposed to do, or that we can. I've got a bird show down right in front of me with all of the blackbirds and doves that hang around here. So I've just got like a little show in front of me right now. Okay, focus, Kellyanne. Um, so we need to change our relationship to change because of that necessary factor, which is allowing big changes to happen over a long period of time instead of a short period of time. That way it's sustainable. That way we're not getting so dysregulated in our emotional body, in our physical body, that we end up sick, that we end up hurting other people who are just trying to help us. It's a problem. It can become a problem real quick. But also, it's like the better our relationship to change becomes, the less likely we will be to have change and chaos smack us over the fucking head. Because that's the other thing. If we tie this video in with the last video, then we can speak very openly and very consciously about how our avoidance patterns and our patterns of perfectionism and people pleasing can make us delay change and decisions that cost us really big chaos in our lives. We can delay those decisions for a long time because we're just looking out for other people, or we're just trying to we're just trying to make it so that the things that we change in our lives don't affect other people or don't hurt other people. And because we kind of give up our sense of agency in that way, and we give up our sense of sovereignty, as in like our authority to make big decisions in our own lives, we give that up to the power of what other people might think, or what other people might want, or how it might affect other people in general. We end up having changes that we need to make sitting on the back burner, going from a simmer to a boil. And all it takes is like taking the lid off, letting some steam off, taking the lid off, letting some steam off, just a couple little moments where it's like, okay, we're just gonna let this thing that needs to be at a full boil, needs to like really change my life and really be a new concept that I focus on. Um, we're going to let it, burn, but we're going to let it cook on high heat, but we're not going to let it boil over into everything else. And we're not going to turn it down because we're afraid that it's going to be too hot for other people. And we're not going to give up on it entirely just so that other people can have that burner on the stove. That is my stove to cook my fears and dreams on, to cook my life on, and all the things that I care about. Um, I'm not going to give up this burner to other people to use. And I'm not going to be afraid of what happens if, other people see that it's boiling and they're afraid that I'm doing too much when I know that I'm doing just enough. The difference between, the pot boiling over or somebody else trying to remove the pot from the stove completely is you giving it that gentle attention, you giving it that gentle, nurturing intentionality, so that you're zooming out and looking at the big picture and then coming back to your stove and going, okay, I see that this is ready and this is done and I can turn this off and I can set it to the side, but this one needs to boil a little longer. This one needs to cook for longer. Or this one, I actually need to turn up the heat. Or this one, I actually need to add a few more ingredients. And let's see what this starts to make for me. Okay? I hope my stove analogy is resonating. Because the changes that we need to happen are going to happen, whether we invite them and entice them or not. So that means the alternative, when we don't allow these changes to happen and we're not the ones who set the intention for them, they smack us in the face. They kick us in the guts. They beat us over the head. And they make us traumatized about change all over again. They remind us, oh, yeah, this is why I don't love change, because change is always so aggressive and dramatic. But the moral of the story is you made the change in the way that it came to you. You caused it by not looking at it to come at you so freaking visible and so flashing strobe lights blinding, because it was doing its best to tell you, hey, we need these changes. Hi, we need these changes. Hello, you need to make these changes. Excuse us. They were trying to be polite. All of the changes were trying to be polite before, and you weren't paying attention. So we need to build on what we learned in the last video and set intentions in this video for the next 3 to 5 days, for the next week, for the next month, however long you want to hold space for this, however big this feels for you, to take charge of. Set the intention for the next several, however many units of time you want to pick, to allow a new story about change and chaos to evolve, to allow the universe to teach you what change could be and how gentle and nuanced and finessed it could be, how wonderful and slow and meandering change could be, in the sense that you would still notice it and you would be able to hold great gratitude and appreciation for the way that change is different now than it was or has been. So set that intention. Take a few deep breaths if you need to. And give yourself a couple days, a couple weeks, a month, a year to use this third quarter moon in Taurus that's happening August 16th, 2025. Use this time to catapult you into a new realm of understanding change. And of course, the wind changed directions. As I get to the end of this, video, allow this to catapult you, and not just allow it, like lean into it, involve yourself, become completely engaged and fully embodied in embracing change and embracing chaos, because that is what's going to get you unstuck from the life that you do not love for yourself. And that is what's going to help you create the life that you love. You got to be open to change so that change can come to you, but you also are the creator. So you got to start creating, baby. You got to be willing to take on the responsibility and the ownership of your life as your own unique creation. I love you so much. You're deserving of all the love you desire. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. Mwah!